but love and respect. You might have some cool fans, but mine are the best. We've been through it all, went to war when duty called. Never left a man behind, we move as one is super strong. I don't want followers, that implies I'm the leader. I'm not the captain, I just gave them something they can believe in. I hold the lamp in the darkness, but they're the light that I needed to see the road that we walk in between the angels and demons. And my fans have my back. Hate us if your feelings don't like facts. And my fans will fight back. Beat you with the keyboard you've been using to write back. I guess we need each other like both sides of the battery. We the army, we the homies, we the gang, we the cavalry. We're brothers and sisters, we hold it down like we gravity. Can't nobody break the bond that made us all family.
Me and my fans, we don't care what anybody say. Middle fingers to whoever in the way, man. Me and my fans, we gon' be together to the grave. It's a game till forever and a day, man. Me and my fans, we don't even trip in the hate. We got all the fuck in our veins, man. Me and my fans,
We the hangover gang. Gang, 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 gang.
Oklahoma weather can dish out some of the worst punishment in the world. Hi everyone, I'm meteorologist Aaron Tuttle. But now you can fight back by installing Class 4 impact-resistant shingles from Ferguson Roof Systems. These shingles can withstand large hail, heavy rain, and hurricane-force winds, all while keeping your home safe and dry. And the best part? This upgrade is completely free for many homeowners. So call today to start reaping the benefits these Class 4 shingles bring, including a discount on home insurance. Only at FergusonRoofSystems.com.
Hey everybody, meteorologist Aaron Tuttle back with you again. It is about 1:45. How about that? Almost right on time. Thanks for joining me. We're going to talk about the weather coming up here for the next couple of days. We're going to find out if and when we're going to get some of that snow for your area, maybe. Or maybe you'll get a little bit of sleet or some freezing rain. What is in the cards? Come to the right place. So thanks for liking, sharing this video. Thanks for the stars on Facebook. I already see you out there. Brenda and Tiffany getting it going. Appreciate you there. Ladies on YouTube, thanks for checking in. And also on Twitter, thanks for checking in. By the way, on Facebook, I'm going to post a link. So if you're having trouble getting notified when I go live from the Facebook algorithms, you can click on that little button and that will bypass their naughty, horrible feature. I'll give it to you direct through your instant messenger. Okay. All right, so let's get on going with it, shall we? So can't waste any time, man. Lunchtime's quick. Got to get moving, right? Got to go. Everybody's short on time here. Got to eat, etc., etc. Okay, so first things first. Obviously, it's a nice day compared to the last couple of days as far as sunshine goes. So that's some good news. That'll have to warm things up. Right now, I'm at 50 degrees in my backyard, so looking forward to getting those temperatures to go a few more degrees higher here for this afternoon before they start to go back southward. And that is because we have a storm system coming our way. This is the Winter Storm Severity Index, which does show highlighted areas of a moderate impact across northern half of Kansas, etc. And then on down south here into Oklahoma under a minor impact for snow. We talk about an ice accumulation. There will be some of that as well. Right now it calls it a limited impact. What that really means is rarely a direct threat to life and property, typical results in a little inconvenience. Now, that's all said and all well and done unless you hit the icy patches on the roadways and you slide your vehicle into a tree, and then you're going to argue with this category. So I think the category is a little silly. So we're not going to focus on that. We're just going to focus on the threat, which is, yes, more ice is coming along with some snow. Now, temperatures out there this morning were cold. We're into the teens and 20s, single digits in the panhandle out there earlier today. But as we say, we're warming things up nicely here. We have temperatures recovering now into the, looks like even some 50s and some upper 40s mostly. Models here in Oklahoma City continue to bump up the snowfall totals. Here's a group of them right here that tops out the chart at 1.6. See, most of them are kind of anchored around the 1-inch category here, and this is for a specific point, which would be Oklahoma City Metro Airport. Will Rogers. But if we take a look at what's going to happen here first before we get the snow, this little orange and red area at 3 o'clock, let's see, let me go back in time. Here we go. Right there. At 3 o'clock in the morning, does show the along the I-44 corridor. That means we get the mixture of freezing rain, sleet, freezing drizzle before we get the snow that moves in. That little wintry mix line moves south and east during the day on Friday, as you can see. Goes all the way into southeastern Oklahoma and continues in North Texas. and then the blue kind of filters in behind it because temperatures will get cold enough at all levels to produce some snow. Upper levels of the atmosphere, we talk about this again. Here's a little jet stream pattern showing us the storm system coming in right here in Oklahoma for Friday afternoon. Now, as we talked about before, it is in elongated trough axis way down like so. So in other words, it's not going to be a huge monumental precipitation maker for just one specific area, kind of an overall general precipitation maker, where you get this trough that moves by. Usually, if we really want crank out precip, you want kind of a closed low, or that same type of a pattern with the trough, but extends way down into the Pacific. All right, so we're talking off Baja. That's when we really get to crank up the moisture there for us. But that's not going to happen this time around. But we are going to get enough to cause inconvenience. I guess is what we're going to call this storm system. All right, so what we have here is the front that comes in for Wednesday night into Thursday, kind of the leading edge of it. And there is some lift in the atmosphere that accompanies this. Now, the best shot at seeing some snow that would actually hit the ground would be in northwest Oklahoma, northern counties of the state, because you do have saturation here with some omega, but it does fall through this dry layer, which means a lot of that snow generated in this layer of the atmosphere at let's say 10 to 20,000 feet is going to evaporate once it gets down about 8,000 feet downward. So that means a lot less snow will make it down to the surface during this time. So, but there still should be some. I just don't look for more than maybe a dusting, at most maybe an inch in some of those areas Wednesday night to Thursday, and I think that's a stretch. But needless to say, that's the first wave of energy that will squeeze out some precipitation that goes through Thursday morning. Even here in Oklahoma City, again, some flurries, about all I can see at that point in time. Or a few sprinkles if they melt to just raindrops by then, depending on what your temperature will be at the surface. As we head into, let's go to Thursday afternoon, broad lift continues. That's because we're trapped in a front that's coming through. So at this point in time, the front here for Friday afternoon should be kind of a line, something like this. So your lift is going to be along and ahead of this boundary, and that's what's going to produce and squeeze out some light precipitation behind it. As we head into Thursday evening, into overnight Thursday night, and a Friday morning, you can see a lot more red on the screen, which means a lot more lift is coming in. So that's our big wave of precipitation, the big maker that's making its way through the state during the early morning hours on Friday. Here's lunchtime into the afternoon. It starts to move into southeast Oklahoma. Still some stragglers down here in northern Texas for a little bit of light precipitation there. And by Friday evening, it's into Arkansas. So that's the timing of this event as far as the big wave is concerned. Now, we also have to talk about where the icing and the snow line is going to be. We can look at our 850 millibar temperatures for that. So let's go to Thursday, 0Z. And now what I have noticed, because I've used this since, what did we just start on? Monday? Yeah. I think I did Saturday, but I can't remember when I went live. But the last few times we've gone live, we've showed you this map to indicate how the blue line is where you're going to have all snow, okay? Pretty much right along this line, north and west. This is Thursday evening. So what that means is, over the last few runs, we've noticed this line has drifted more to the north and west, which is fine because that jives with the forecast I've had, which has been for that I-44 corridor to see that monkey business of a little bit of sleet, freezing rain, and freezing drizzle. So everything's good on the forecast for that. Now, as we head into midnight hours, that line starts to sag to the south. Here's 3 o'clock in the morning, and then here's 6 a.m. on Friday. And you can see now that line is stretching southern Tulsa County to Norman, back down to around the Ardmore area. So that means that will push any of that wintry mix to the south along with it. So we will have at least about 3 hour window, probably maybe 6, of some very, you know what, I'll go 6. A good solid 6 hours of a light little wintry mix here, window, and then it closes and produces just snow after that as the colder air deepens. But the mix will continue here in southeast Oklahoma as that colder air still hasn't quite moved into the state until the precipitation starts to wrap up. So they'll have less snow down there, but they'll have more of the little sleet and freezing rain accumulation. So that's how it breaks down a timeline for you. Let's go on to, let's start you with Thursday. So here's Thursday morning. Like I said, there's Wednesday night, Thursday morning. There's a little indication of a little bit of this sprinkles or snowfall that makes its way through that dry layer. So it's not the big system. It's not the big show. Like I said, maybe a dusting at most in some of those areas in northwestern Oklahoma. But as we head into the time slot of Thursday afternoon, that front starts to move through central Oklahoma, and it does start to generate some lift, which gets some showers and some pockets of drizzle going, so that's what the model is indicating there. At 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, you start to see how the model's starting to change this color scheme over. That's as that cold air comes in. It'll be a sharp gradient where those temperatures drop pretty quick, and that gives us this little bit of light pink here, which is light freezing drizzle. It's a very light freezing rain. Now that's in Canadian County and points north here as early as about 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. So if you're going to be heading home, knock on wood, as long as the models have sometimes they don't, a decent timeline here for the arrival of the Arctic air, that means you should be able to make it home before we get the freezing drizzle on the elevated bridges and overpasses. If they're wrong by just 2 hours, and they are often wrong by just a couple of hours when it comes to Arctic air, it might affect your drive time tomorrow evening. So I would just prepare that likely your drive time tomorrow evening at this point in time for Thursday evening is going to be a little affected with some pocket areas of some freezing drizzle on some bridges and overpasses. Just keep that in the back of your mind. Take it slow, etc., etc. Shouldn't be a big deal, but it doesn't take much to cause problems. But anyway, you can see how that continues up northern Oklahoma during 8, 9 o'clock into Tulsa area here by 10 o'clock. So it kind of just continues during the late evening and early overnight. So there's midnight, for example. We still got that mix here on the I-44 corridor. And as we head on into 3 o'clock in the morning, so here we go. Now we're starting to push this thing south of the Oklahoma City metro, still hanging on in Tulsa, with a little wintry mix down toward Lawton now. As we head into the 6 o'clock hour, remember how I told you all that colder air was filtering in by that point, shoving the wintry precip down south of that boundary. So that means Tulsa, Oklahoma City should be all snow by that point in time. And the rest of that little icy mix will continue down across southeastern Oklahoma for the remainder of the day. But look at that snow moving through the north and into central parts of Oklahoma through lunchtime tomorrow. And then, not tomorrow, Aaron, lunchtime Friday. And then as we head into Friday afternoon, that stuff starts to move into southeast Oklahoma for dissipating in the evening hours as that cold air moves in at the last minute. So when we kind of put this into play with amounts, I'm going to show you how the models start to indicate this accumulation of freezing rain, all right, freezing drizzle. So there's 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 6 p.m. there comes northwest Canadian County, 7. So you see how that kind of model's developing, that very light accumulation through 9 o'clock. Now, the model's kind of favoring northwest Oklahoma County and the Canadian. Keep in mind, this can wiggle around a little bit. But the take home here is it should be light, about 5/100ths. Now, it only takes 100th to cause an ice skating rink. Just keep that in mind. You notice how this kind of continues to pick up overnight. There's midnight, so we head into 3, 4, 6 o'clock in the morning. And then we go through the rest of the day. Indications are some more of this freezing light accumulation of ice down here in southeast Oklahoma. So not a power outage deal, just a travel issue deal. Right now, the models are kind of favoring a heavier amounts just north of I-44. This has been a new trend. It could easily go right back along I-44 just to the south. So this is the general take home. If we live along north and south of this little boundary, that's where the heaviest, at least initially, of the freezing drizzle will accumulate, which means your Friday morning drive time will be gross. A blend of models even suggest parts of western Oklahoma getting some of that freezing drizzle all the way out to Elk City, and then again more down toward Muskogee, McAllister, to southeast Oklahoma. So they're all going to vary a little bit on amounts. But at least the take-home, the signal is it's light. Sleet accumulations, based off the European model, shows the majority of sleet accumulations may be in this little orange area, which extends from, south of Miami through Tulsa, Creek County, and then back into, say, Seminole, and then right around the Norman area and back out toward Lawton. So a little 1/10 of an inch maybe of sleet accumulation. You guys know the difference now between sleet and freezing rain, the difference between the two. The sleet's those little clear balls that bounce around. Snowfall amounts, if you were just to take a blend of the models, this continues to kind of finesse, kind of wiggles around a little bit. The take-home's been basically about the same, though. 1 inch to 2 widespread with pockets of 3 or higher in some areas, and they move around. The pockets where the 3 inches are, because the models are going to do a very good job at it, but they're, at least the signal's there. So some people will get about 3 inches of snow, or maybe even 4. If you look at the European, which we'll do here in a second. By the way, this is the European for Oklahoma City. We've been looking at these ensemble runs. They continue to get more confident, more aggressive, to where they've actually gone up to about 2 inches total in snowfall here in Oklahoma City. Now, if you break this down to the map, the operational run keeps us at about an inch of the snow, even though the ensembles give us 2. There's 2 on the north side of Oklahoma County, say Edmond, and then you do see pockets of 4 in here. In the European, I gotta admit, I'm telling you, in winter weather forecasting, you lean a lot toward it and you go with it more than the others, especially when it's been locked onto an event for a long time. It's just a king sometimes in winter weather. Not all of them, but the majority of them it does very, very well at. Let's see. If I look at the icon model, we've been doing this for a while just to look at the snowfall amounts, see what it's been doing. It'll also show you the heavier snow up north of us into Kansas. So if you live in Kansas, you're like, well, how much snow are we going to get? You're all over the map. You're anywhere from a dusting to 6 inches. Along the central part of the state and points north. But you can see here, even in central Oklahoma, the icon model has a pocket of 3. And it's been bouncing around here. Occasionally it'll throw in 4 and then it'll back off. So it's been consistent in its placement, just varying in amounts just a hair. All right, let's get on the temperatures here as we go through time. We'll show you where the cold front comes in. By the way, today, look, 50s across the state, looking good. All right, so let's go to the front timing position for this Thursday morning. This is what I mentioned, Wednesday night, Thursday morning, right around here. Temperatures are kind of still right at or above freezing many areas. So if we get a few flakes of snow or some light sprinkles, it won't amount to much. As we head to Thursday, here comes that front into central Oklahoma. It's 4 o'clock moving through Oklahoma City. So the model has at least picked up the speed on the front. Now it has to catch up to the actual temperatures behind the front. So for example, it's got us 39 degrees in Oklahoma City at 5, and at 6 o'clock it's got us at 36. We could easily already be at 32 or 30. So Arctic air is a misnomer when it comes to model data, and trying to forecast the exact number, they never do a good job. It's usually always colder than what they have. So I would just plan that the latter part of our rush hour on on Thursday, to have a little bit of a mess from Oklahoma City north and northwest a bit as freezing drizzle develops. Then we head into overnight or evening hours. That continues, and overnight temperatures get colder, and by daybreak Friday we're of course back in the 20s, and then in the afternoon model's going to try to warm us up above freezing many areas. I think that's a little too aggressive. I'm not liking that idea. Wind chill values, by the way, on Friday morning will be into the teens and some single digits. So the first half of Friday will be pretty cold, pretty miserable with the light precipitation moving through, the light winter storm. Winds, show you that as well because it's going to be quite windy. And I'll put up the long range because I wanted to show you how the winds really kick up over the weekend. Because we talked about that last night in the live. Somebody asked, what's the winds on Sunday? And I hadn't looked at that time, and we pulled it up together. I was like, whoa. Okay, so here's a look at Friday morning. Winds up around 20 to 30 miles per hour, so quite gusty during the first part of the day. They will die down by late evening and overnight. Saturday, they're good in the morning, quiet, but by Saturday afternoon, they start to pick up again by late day, so back up around 30. Then, Saturday night into Sunday, look at this. These are wind gusts up around 40 to 50 miles per hour over central and western Oklahoma. Those kind of die off a little bit, and then they pick back up Sunday night. Now, a lot of times you have a low-level jet in here, so the model will kind of pick up a little bit on that wind. And so some of this won't quite transfer down to the surface, even though it thinks it will. But regardless, to say, if you do get some wind gusts up around 50, you'll know why. It's just going to be kind of a blustery period over the weekend. Okay, temperature-wise, we are going to be, 25 degrees or so for Friday morning. Again, I don't know if we're going to hit this 36. I like 32 or 33. And then on Saturday, a nice spread in the day from cold day in the teens to 50, and then the warm-up looks good after that. We keep back and forth on the final temperature for Wednesday, back up to around 80 degrees, which looks really good if you ask me. And then finally, I'm going to show you the meteorological side, little geeky side here. So we'll take a look at Oklahoma City first off. Remember that the time on this chart goes from right to left. Okay, so this is system number 1. This is that Wednesday night, Thursday morning time frame. So you see some moisture. You see a little bit of lift in the red lines, but you see a lot of dry air down here, and that's why things should evaporate pretty good. We do eventually start to moisten up this lower level as the cold front moves in Thursday afternoon, and then look right here. This is where we start to get that winter precipitation from Thursday evening early through about 3 o'clock in the morning on Friday. The little red is for freezing rain, yellow is for a little bit, orange is for a little bit of sleet, and then the blue is the snow. And that ends by lunchtime Friday, Oklahoma City. We start to get bone dry and it's out of here. Residual cloudiness from some moisture aloft, but the heavy precipitation is over. And I can say the same thing, a similar outcome for Tulsa. If we take a look at them, same idea. Their big show again starts in the evening hours for Thursday for some light freezing rain, freezing drizzle, very, very light. And then a light little dosing of sleet, and then a quick transition to snow. And like I said, the models are anywhere from 1 to 2 inches for both metros. And then if we look down in Dallas, like I said, I don't think there's going to be a problem on the roadways or anything, but the models do indicate you might see a wet snowflake or a little sleet pellet in there during Friday afternoon and evening, kind of in a little sweet spot there for a couple hours. So don't be surprised you see something, but it shouldn't amount to any troubles down in Dallas-Fort Worth. So things are looking pretty good down there. Okay, I think that I covered everything. I believe I did. Whew. What time is it? Oh, I went a little long. I was trying to do that in 15 minutes. I tried. It was 20 minutes after. So it's close. I try to do this as fast as I can for you on your lunchtime. We just spend a little bit more time in the evening just to show you some more stuff. But regardless, thanks for checking in, you guys, on Twitter and YouTube and Facebook. Appreciate your support. And what we'll do is another update here for tonight. By the way, see on the Bruce and Mary sending me some stars this afternoon. Appreciate you. Michael and Judy and Tiffany and Brenda. 9:30 again tonight. We'll see if any of the data's changed. Right, and then like we did today, we're going to fine tune the line for the freezing drizzle, sleet, and see if those amounts change any. And then the timing, we'll narrow that down even closer to the hour. And then snowfall, it's been pretty consistent. We'll see. Try to pick out maybe some of the hot spots of the biggest snows and go from there. Let's see. Will the snow stick to streets, etc.? So that's the question. And the answer is yes. At least for a while. Hold on. I think I've got some cream of wheat in here. Excuse me. I'm going to go get that out. But anyway, so yeah, I do expect some travel trouble problems on Friday morning. They should improve by the afternoon. And then if you're heading around on Saturday, there'll be some slick spots on roadways, of course, from melting overnight, bridges and overpass, that kind of stuff. So just kind of be careful. You can use my app, AT's Weather to Go, to make sure you keep track of the winter storm. And you can use my website, AaronTuttleWeather.com, which does have, you guessed it, road conditions on there. For Kansas, Arkansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma, and Texas. So if you want to know how the roads are going, you can look on that. It's on my website, AaronTuttleWeather.com. Just go to the Weather Data tab and click on Multi-State Road Conditions. You can click on the pictures that are on there and see exactly what it looks like and see if there's cars in the road or whatever. See how it's moving. And that'll help guide you if you had to head out the door. All right, well, that's it for me before I lose my voice for some reason. You guys enjoy the rest of your lunch and your afternoon, and we'll see you again this evening. Take care, everybody.